How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good. Hi, I'm Susannah Malbreaux, publisher of the Southern View magazine. Today, I have the distinct pleasure of interviewing my friend Kenneth Boudreaux. To you guys, Councilman, City Parish Councilman Kenneth Boudreaux, and a pillar of our community. Today, we're going to get inside the mind of Kenneth and see what's been going on over the past few years since he's been in office. But before we get into the politics of it all, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, not that we all don't know, but tell us a little bit about yourself and your family.
Absolutely. Again, I'm Kenneth Boudreaux. I'm the seventh of 8 children born to Shirley and Aaron Boudreaux, a lifelong resident of Lafayette, Louisiana. Born here, never left, don't intend to leave. I have 3 beautiful kids of my own. My oldest daughter, Jasmine, recently married. And my twin children, thank you. My twin children, Reginald and Kayla. My son is at Morehouse in Atlanta. My daughter is at Southern University in that awesome band there. And of course, Jazz is about to graduate from LSU. So, grew up in Macomb, a very nice, popular area of Lafayette, the central part of Lafayette, you would.
Yes.
Went to Northside High School, graduated there in 1986. Went on to USL, graduated there.
I like that emphasis on USL before it became UL.
UL, that's right, that's right. So, got all of my formal education here and kind of just been working here all of my life. So, that's kind of the Reader's Digest version of it, if you will. Yeah. All
right, we can find out a little more on, social media.
Yeah,
we definitely follow Kenneth. But you and I, go back. I'm trying to think. I could say like with Senator Boudreaux, we started with the MLK Holiday Committee.
Yeah, I think it might go back further than that. Yeah.
Okay.
I admire you for your community service, and that's kind of what I take a lot of pride in myself. And I know we worked on numerous projects.
Yes.
I think the Martin Luther King Holiday Celebration has been the most long-standing one. But there have been a number of events that we will find ourselves in the same rooms just working on behalf of children, our elderly, our special population, in one way or the other. And that's what I've pretty much been about all my life, just serving community. I had a great upbringing. My grandmother, Julia Aldridge, took the first African-American girl to Louisiana Girls State, which I'm sure you could appreciate. And, my grandfather, Amos Aldridge, was an officer in NAACP in the 60s. So, and my grandmother on the other side worked in the cafeteria at Immaculate Heart for many, many years and served a lot of people a lot of food, So we've just been in that service industry for a long time, and it kind of stuck with me.
Yeah, that's because it's from the heart.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful thing. It makes you want to continue doing it.
No doubt.
Then when you're done with one thing, you're looking out to see what else you can do. What's the next task?
That is correct. And it's rewarding.
Yeah.
It's rewarding for me to see us take someone from where they are and help them get to the point that they need to be and see that growth in a person. I just don't see anything greater than that.
Okay. Well, this is not, your brother's interview, but it sounds like I need to ask you the same question because for as long as I've been knowing you, I did not see any political aspirations.
Yeah.
So maybe with the service, tell us a little bit what led you into the political arena.
It kind of came from nowhere, if you would. I like to consider myself a service guy. I like to do work.
You have, yeah.
Right. So actually back in the late 90s, was really, really active, doing a whole bunch of stuff, and then 2000 came around, and then people started talking about things like term limits, and certain people will be leaving office. Still didn't aspire to be an elected official, a politician at that time. But what I found, Suzanne, I could call you Sue. I'm one of the few.
Now the whole world will know.
Yeah. What I found was that if you're on the service lines, that your ability to do things is limited by the policies and the laws that are in place.
Right.
So for me it was, you could get out here and do any and everything you want, but at the end of the day you can't do any more than what the policymakers would allow you to do. And it was very restrictive at that time, at a time where we were transitioning, and children in particular was going through great challenges. And I don't think that educationally, socially, community-wise, we were able to step up to that because policies say you can't do this, you can't do that. And I then took the position that, you know, if someone who I could not have great confidence would seek this position, I would have to do it myself. Right. You know, not just talk about it, but you got to be about it. Yeah. And when Mr. Benjamin, who was in the District 4 seat prior to me, when his time was coming to an end and people expressed interest, I think we had some very competent and smart, competent, smart candidates. I just wanted to bring a real heavy load of service to that position, and I decided to run, and that was it. Along with, I got to share this story with you. It was also driven by a grant application. Really? I was working at the Domain Recreational Center where a lot of people really got to know me, and I was applying for a grant to do some youth programs, some children programs, and it was a competitive grant through CDBG, Community Development Block Grant. And I did not receive that grant. I finished second to a sidewalk project. They were either going to fund a sidewalk project or fund this children's program at the Domain Center. And I left there so disappointed. And at that day I said, we spend more money on concrete than we do on children. And again, that became one of those policy things. Right. And again, if you want to change, you got to get involved. And that says, you know what, we got to do things a little differently, and the rest is history. And
you have to step up and make the change.
That's right.
You know,
that
you're wanting, and sometimes get in the driver's seat.
Yes.
And sometimes. So your election as City Parish Councilman was in 2011.
Actually 2007. 2007. My first run was in 2007. Took office in 2008. Okay. We had a significant transition on the council at that time because of the 9 members. 8 of them rolled off for one reason or another. Either they chose not to run, they were termed out, or they got defeated. Okay. So we had 8 new members in 2007. Then in 2011 was re-election, but I was fortunate to have gone unopposed. Right, and then in 2015, my last opportunity to run, because we have term limits here. Right. In 2015, I also was unopposed. So, but my first election was in 2007.
Well, and the thing I again was observant of, not having an opponent is a wonderful thing, and to me that just speaks to the amount of service and what you've offered to the community. No doubt you've been adhering to the needs and wishes of your constituents. Right, right. Yeah, I mean, do you agree with that?
I agree. The thing about it is, I like competition, personally, myself. Plus, I think it keeps an honest, healthy process as it relates to being elected. Okay. It doesn't allow you to raise money, which is significant because people, they need things, they want things, and you're not always able to do it if you don't have a pool of money available to assist and contribute. But yeah, the flip side of that, yes, it speaks to service, it speaks to response, it speaks to giving back, it speaks to being accountable. And I'm fortunate, I'm blessed, and I am appreciative that the voters of District 4 saw fit that, hey, evidently Kenneth is doing a job that we approve of, and no individual at that point was interested in seeking the office. So it has its pros and cons, but I'm grateful, I'm appreciative, and if I could do it again, I would. I
don't blame you. Yeah. So later we'll talk to see what's the next step, you know, for Kenneth. But for right now, having served as, you've been definitely the chair. Yeah.
Been chair 3 times.
And I think that's like a first. Or
well, a second. There's only 2 people since consolidation that have been chairperson 3 times. And that's myself and Dow Schwest. Dow Schwest was the first 3 years of consolidation. But I've been chair on 3 different occasions, elected by my peers to be so, which again is another great honor. That is. And not easily done. I mean, we're only 2 minorities on this council by race. This year we have 2 females, so they're minorities by gender. Right. But you know, the Republican-Democratic split has kind of been in place almost right down the center. So to have a relationship with your colleagues and have the respect that they would say, when we set all differences aside, that we support Kenneth leading us in this fashion, that's pretty honorable as well. So I'm grateful for that, and proud of it, and try not to disappoint anyone.
Well, the one thing I've been observant of with this, you know, group of councilmen and women is that they're very respectful. They seem to be focused. You guys have really good camaraderie, you know, so you can see that, you can tell that. I'm sure there's a little, you know, something that may go on behind the scenes, but if there is, you can't see it, you know, on the surface. So
well, I
think
tell
that's
you,
good.
Yeah, well, I can tell you what I asked when I brought to the council in 07, when we took office in 08 actually, was as we met and talked and prepared and went through orientation and things of that nature, there was a lot of criticism of previous councils, of their behaviors. You know, you had people calling people outside, threatening to do this. You had a couple of war veterans who was ready to go back to war, but it would have been civil because it would have been right here.
Right.
But what I said at that time was, look, I'm an old athlete, and I believe in competing hard. But the beauty of an athletic competition is at the end of the competition, you cross the surface, whether it's the playing field, whether it's the diamond, whether it's the court, and you shake hands. And you don't take it personal. And that's what I kind of introduced to my members in 08. Look, I'm going to fight for District 4. I'm going to fight for the North Side. I'm going to fight for my community. I'm going to fight for people who look like me. But it's not personal. That's what I've been sent here to do.
But that's what they were sent there for too.
Exactly, and they do it, and they've done it well.
And they have.
So it was just about representing, and then, but at the end of the night, each Tuesday night that we met, or any other form of meeting, again, I was okay, and I've never had an instance where we did not leave in good order and in good standing, and that's a good thing because it becomes reflective of our communities and of Lafayette.
Right. All right. Well, we know that over the past, that's like 10 years.
10 years. 10 years, yeah. December of 2017 will be 10 years officially in office with two to go. Countdown.
I wanted to get you before the end of the term. Come back and get you again later.
There you go.
But tell us and the audience about some of the successes that you've had serving as council.
Oh my God, they've, you know, it's
That's
been
what we want to
successful.
hear about.
Right. Just having been in office for me has been a success.
But how
I could
has
tell
the
you
community?
that, you know, I think not in any particular order, but one of the first things was the building of the police precinct on Mall Street. Because of all of the needs that existed, but keep in mind that was also a proposed location for a Greyhound bus station, which would have been devastating to the community. So in that instance, we were able to prevent something that would have been devastating to a community and turn it into something that has been really beneficial to a community. So that certainly stands out, the building of that precinct. Most recently, the building and the opening of an LUS revenue collection facility on Mall Street, where people could actually pay their bills in person, not have to fight the downtown traffic or the college traffic. But that opening, we built a brand new fire station, a number of park improvements, safety features at the municipal golf course right there at Louisiana Avenue in Mud. And when I say safety, remember, we were involved in a lawsuit years ago where a golf ball that left the playing area struck a lady in the head and cost the city hundreds of thousands of dollars in lawsuits. So we, with the netting and the redirection of some of the greens and driveways, we've been able to bring some safety features where cars and other people are not as great a risk. So again, that's in no particular order. We fought the waste transfer station, which could have been devastating, not in my community. It was in District 3, but again, same.
Those are right next
to each other. You know, so the list goes on and on. You know, we've restructured some things that have allowed us to become more efficient in government within certain departments. We were very instrumental in that. You know, and just it's a lot. A lot of capital projects. This year was able to secure in excess of $1 million to do some significant improvements in Hyman Park, which, in my opinion, is the most beautiful park in all of Lafayette. So you know, just
remember.
Kids exactly. Louisiana Avenue I-10 development, trying to really finish that off, get the other 3 intersections developed. So economic development that we've been able to achieve thus far, with more to come.
Okay. So those are some things that you have coming up. Those are some things that you like to finalize.
Absolutely.
Before your term.
Yeah. As I approach these last 2 years, what we call in the end of this journey, certainly economic development. we still have some challenges as it relates to safety within our communities. Addressing the issue of gun violence. What is it that we could do locally? That is not a local issue only. It is not a police issue only. It's very broad. But the key is, what is the local government's responsibility or role in those corrections? So that's huge. Gun violence in our community. Again, finish the economic development component so that we can improve education, we can improve communities, and improve overall quality of life in and around our area. And just some tourists and attractions where we could have activity within our community where it would draw people from outside of our community. So when we look at how things have developed in Lafayette as far as festivals and events, bringing some of those into our area where the business owners, the resident owners, the property owners within those communities will be able to benefit from the influx of people coming as well. So that's kind of the direction that I'm looking to go to finish out these next couple of years. And again, at the end of the day, it's all about quality of life.
Yeah. That's true. I've heard you talk about that so many times. But when you started talking about even festivals and different type of tourist attractions and all, I think there's definitely an opportunity for that on the northern side.
Oh, absolutely.
Of
Well,
Lafayette.
that's part of the Hyman Park feature.
Yeah.
Okay, so in Hyman Park, how do we utilize the river which runs right through it? How do we connect to Vermilionville and use a lot of that open public space? Because you have Malbreaux Middle School and Vermilion Conference Center, which also offers us a lot of opportunity as far as public space to do some things really unique. Holy Rosary Institute grounds, that tract of land would be a prime area to be able to do some things on the lines of festivals and heritage type events. And then of course, anything along the interstate as it relates to water parks, again, utilizing the river and things of that nature. So yeah, the opportunities are there. Yeah. We just have to be prepared to capitalize on them when they come. We got to get ready to be able to receive certain things when it's happening, and not to necessarily neglect or deprive any other area of town. Is about capturing some things from time to time that we're deserving of as well.
Right. So how's the community assisting with that, or is there anything you need from the community input?
There has been a lot of buy-in. Macomb Visé Coterie has been on top of this, and some of the discussions that have come out of the I-49 corridor project has really allowed this to gain some life. But support from the administration has been really, really good. So just continue to look out and continue to express and talk about the things that we would like to see, the type of things we would like to be able to utilize, take advantage of, participate in. But I would say that the participation has been good. It really has. But we can't ever have too much of that, right? So we just, as far as what people can do, engage. If there's been a challenge, that was a challenge when I came in and is still a challenge today, is engaging our community and getting them to participate without guarantee, without assurance of anything, but knowing that the best chance we have is that your voice is being heard and that you're participating in the process.
Right. That's true. I was definitely going to talk about more challenges and, even like with crime. I think there's still so much more that we can do. You guys as elected officials kind of put some policies in place and you do what you can, like you said, with the police precinct on laws, but how do we, really get our community engaged and, helping to stop? I don't think we're going to stop.
Right. That has been a mystery.
Minimize.
That has been a mystery, but we have to address some of those contributors. We have to address the economic opportunities that exist and the job opportunities. We have to address the quality of education that is being received. We have to address the housing market and how we are building our communities and making sure that we're not putting stressed, frustrated, aggravated people all in one area because of some of those other factors. It's a lot. So yeah, it's a number of contributing factors, and I think historically what has happened is that we tried to put a Band-Aid on a cancer, if you would, when that's not going to work. You have to treat this as a healthcare issue, kind of like what's happening with this opioid epidemic today, right, versus the crack epidemic of the old. We have to make sure that our issue is being diagnosed properly so that it could be treated properly and ultimately cured properly.
Right. So those areas that you're talking about need to be addressed almost simultaneously.
In most instances, yes.
Economics, because if we're able to, get jobs for people, but then again, if we're able to bring it to the north side, it's challenging because some businesses won't move there because they think the crime is, really high. And we'd like to tell folks too that there's crime in Lafayette, not just on one end of town.
Absolutely.
But then, businesses are still moving to, different areas of the town. So we need to show the beautification of the north side. That is the entrance into Lafayette.
It's multifold. I like to say it's multifold. All of these issues do need to be addressed. As you indicated, we have to highlight the many positives that exist. Because even with the things that I have mentioned, I often tell people, I don't talk about a school system or a public school system. I talk about education. Because there are a lot of successful schools in my area that's putting out some very high quality education.
Okay, before he goes on, we know Northside is #1 for Kenneth Boudreaux.
Yeah, absolutely. Love them Vikings.
Go Vikings.
Go Vikings. So, it's we have to get the credit for everything that we do if we're going to get the credit for the things that we have not done. So we got some work to do. We do have some work to do, but I'm looking forward to it whether I'm in office or not.
Well, we know you're not going away. So we're constantly on a regular basis listening to you on the radio. So you're keeping, the community engaged, and, that's a wonderful thing.
It is. It's been it's been a joy. Another great ride for me. Radio has been very beneficial, and it's a forum that we've been able to utilize to keep people informed, get people motivated. Like the philosophy of our show, it's information, motivation, education, and inspiration. And we don't use it to attack people's character or their integrity or try to destroy their character in any way. We try to use it to empower and build people, and that's been really, really good for us, and that's what we're going to continue to do.
And it's good to focus in on that.
Yeah.
So you've been recognized in the community. You've got numerous awards. You care to share that with the audience?
Well, I have, but it's not the reason why we do what we do.
But you know what? It's inspirational.
It is. But I will tell you that I guess when you've been at it as long as I have, you do get a chance to accumulate a few awards, and I'm humbled. I'm appreciative of those. My ultimate award is I'm looking for eternal life in God's kingdom. I just want to serve well, and one day when I face that maker, I want him to say, "Job well done," and that'll be good enough for me. But one of my oldest awards that I'll never forget is being Big Brother of the Year. That was very special.
And why was that one special for you?
Because I was helping someone else. Being a big brother, one-to-one mentoring through the Big Brothers Big Sisters program was such a great honor. And the young man who I mentored, and I was a big too, and actually his brother. So I was the first person to ever have 2 littles at one time, which is actually against Big Brothers Big Sisters policy. So, but I refused to leave a kid behind as I took his brother out of that home to go have the good times that we had. But that's probably one of the biggest ones. I've been recognized by different organizations as being a Man of the Year. I guess probably one of the biggest is to see the success of my children. That's like the most rewarding thing. I
know your face lights up.
Yeah.
When you talk about the children.
Yeah, it's awesome. It really is, especially today with all the challenges we face with children, and to know that mine have been such a blessing. But the awards have been many. Citizen of the Year, Civilian of the Year. And I really do appreciate all of them. But again, it just makes me work harder, try more, do better, and hopefully get better results.
And then not that you have any issues with public speaking, but you've been called on in the community to speak at different events.
Oh yeah, yeah, number of those. I operate a small business LLC to the front to the top consultants.
I saw that.
Right, and that allows me to do some things, but it also allows me to give back. So there's a number of occasions where I've gone to churches and schools and other community events to share a message. When you have the experiences that I have been fortunate to have, be it through politics, be it through public and community service, or just anything else that God has blessed me with, an opportunity to share that back with the people in a mass situation, in a mass crowd situation is good. So I enjoy those times as well.
That's good. I'm really excited, to the front, to the top.
Yeah.
Consultants.
To the front of the class, to the top of the class. We don't want to be sitting in the back.
I like that.
And we don't want to be at the bottom.
I like that.
So we try to work with folks and teach them how to go to the front to whatever they're doing and to the top of whatever they're doing.
That's a good message for our young folks.
It is.
It
right
is.
Now. That has stuck with me for 29 years.
Awesome. Yeah. All right, now I'm going to switch back a little to politics because, again, we talked about you entering, the end of your term. Have you started to, you don't have to say any names because I don't want to put you on the spot, share information, but have you started mentoring someone to take over where you were left off? More, and even if it's more than one.
Yeah. I guess that could be a yes. What I have committed to, if I've made myself available to whoever's interested. When I came into this scene, although I had participated in a number of elections and have been a part of many successful elections, I didn't have anyone, ABC 1, 2, 3 in me. I wanted to be that for someone. And at the same time, what I kind of avoid doing is trying to tell people who they need to vote for.
Oh, right.
Right. I'm very conscious of that, and that's something that concerns me. Because it gives a lot of authority. When you have served for a period of time, when you've gotten a rapport with the people, that's a lot of authority for one person to just say, this is who we should support. Mm-hmm. Not knowing if and what this person may be benefiting to say those things. So I take that very seriously. But I've just made myself available. There have been a number of people who have come and expressed interest, and I have been an open book, and I have shared with them from the onset that anyone who comes, I will be speaking to them, and of course for my own well-being, because I'm going to have to cast a vote in that election as well.
Exactly.
So,
and while you're not looking to, maybe recommend or support any one particular person, folks in the community will be looking.
That's right.
Hey, who's Kenneth?
Well, and for me, it's, I approached this that I wanted to make it better than I found it. And I hope somebody is planning on doing the same thing. So we've raised the bar, I think, and we've done well. And a lot of good things have happened, but by no means are we finished. Right. So someone is going to have to take this to even a greater level. Right. And that's the person I'm going to be voting for, is the one who shows that, they're ready for this, that they could take on the big people. They could remain rooted and grounded with our community, and they could cross party lines and create relationships to the benefit of the people, and just, not looking for selfish motives and have their own ulteriors. I mean, I'm going to be looking for someone who has everything I got plus on.
Well, and you should, because one, we just said that person needs to pick up, continue where you left off, and like you said, we want them to take it to the next level to make things better. So, I'm thinking back before you guys got in. We talked about that. Unfortunately, we didn't think that, the folks in District 3, District 4 had actually groomed anybody.
Right.
They just didn't have that camaraderie.
Right.
And we've talked about it, like in our circle, that it's really important.
It is. It is. In politics, it's tough. I mean, it's tough to get into inner circles. Is again, you want to be conscious and wary of who you're endorsing, who you're supporting, who you're putting out there.
And know who you're endorsing. Because
exactly.
Sometimes you can just endorse and then all of a sudden, once that person gets in office, you're like, hey, that's not who I was supporting.
Exactly. That's not what you intended for. Right. So it's not easy. And that's why I say that these situations have to be taken under serious advisement. And I would even encourage people to go into prayer. Before making these types of decisions.
Yeah. Well, and I'd like to see somebody, not just in your district, all the districts, already have, a yearning for the best of our community as a whole, and already serving.
Yeah.
Because you don't just come out of a cocoon or something and then, you know, you want to serve, because we know your background. Most of the folks, you know, a lot of folks have already been serving.
That's right.
Now it's just time to take it to the next level. Let me see, is there more that I can do?
Well, and it's about knowing that they have a servant's heart.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, we have some folks who get into office for themselves.
Well, it's like building a resume.
Right. So for me, that prerequisite of having served before being elected, that goes a long way with me.
Yeah.
If you don't have that record in place already, and you're trying to begin your record at the election level, that don't set very well with me.
Yeah.
But I'm only one vote.
Well, I like to say folks are usually building a resume with no substance.
Yeah.
You know, and if somebody, you know, can't see through that, you know, they're the perfect candidate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we've had some of those. Yeah. We've had some of those.
Yeah. All right. Then once you're, you know, out of office in a couple of years, you have your business going, any other political aspirations? Now I have to ask, whether he answers is another story. Because we will have an opportunity to, you know, visit with Kenneth again. So, you know.
I am approaching the end of this journey the way I approached the beginning of it. I'm going to let God lead me.
Yeah.
As I indicated earlier, you know, the political leapfrog kind of came out of nowhere. It was a call to service. If that same call happens again, I'll be prepared. But if we have folks in office who are doing well, and, you know, by my opinion, because it'll be a decision that affects me, who are doing the things that I feel that I would be able to do, well then I don't mind staying on the sideline.
Right.
To take a step back would not be the worst of things. But the one thing that I've learned is that, especially the way we see America today, is that we need some people who are very prepared, very capable, and who have a track record of success. Otherwise, our community gets left behind. And I just don't want to be in a community that's being left behind.
Right. Well, we don't. The other thing I've been observant of over the years, because again, we're so closely knitted with the politics and all, is that some folks get in office and they dare anybody to run against them.
Yeah.
You know, and I hear the term, well, that person doesn't have any experience. But guess what? You didn't either.
Right, at one time.
And if you could learn it, other people can learn it. And I just think that folks need to be open more to exactly what you just said.
Right.
If you're doing and helping the people in the community, there's almost no reason for someone to run against you unless they just want to get into
I am probably the biggest contradictor of that, because I actually encourage people to run, but there have been some people I've discouraged from running for certain things. But the times that I've discouraged people from running, it was more so for their protection, not for their discouragement. Because this could be ugly, it's damaging, and sometimes it's taken personal. Yeah. And I've seen some very talented young people who I felt wanted to seek an office that would have probably done more harm than good for them because they had a greater potential. So I've seen lawyers who would consider running for positions that does not require being a lawyer as a prerequisite, but I saw their potential to be a judge, and I didn't want them to get damaged running for a council seat, that type of stuff. Yeah. Because once you put yourself out there, you create enemies. Right. You once you oppose someone, for whatever reason, we want to consider you our enemy rather than just respecting the fact that you had the right to run. But around here, that's not always the case. So I've discouraged a few people. I've seen young, talented people who just got their professional career started, because these positions, they're not absolute, and they're not guaranteed, and they certainly cannot pay the way to take care of your family. So if you just had a career change, or you just up and coming professional and you're young, new family maybe, I'm always encourage this, because this could be very damaging. I mean, I lost a 20-year job, in my opinion, behind politics. You know, but I was prepared for that. But I could sit here and tell you that everything hasn't been pleasant.
I'm sure not.
Right. But and if I could protect someone from having those or similar type experiences, I have. but I've never discouraged anyone from running thinking that this is for me. It was never anyone who came to say, I want to run against you. If somebody did that, I'd tell them good luck.
Right.
But they was interested in seeking other positions, or they wanted to seek this position when my time was up. And I still felt, although it wouldn't be about me, I have told people that, look, if that's what you want to do, fine. But you're young, you're dynamic, you have great ideas, you're doing well in the community, you got a young spouse, you got young children, you just got this nice job. Make sure you know what you're getting into.
I think that's wonderful, Kenneth. I mean, somebody needs to be able to coach, guide, you know, direct, especially some of the young folks, and I don't see anything wrong with that.
No. I think it's been received well.
Right.
It has been received well.
Right, because it could be bad, but you know, thankfully, you know, folks are receptive to that, and that again, you know, speaks.
Right, and it never got to the
are.
level of what you spoke about, where this is my position. Again, it's never been an instance where it was someone saying, I want to run against you, Kenneth Boudreaux. Yeah,
right.
I would welcome
that. You haven't, but
others have. Yeah,
others have.
Absolutely.
You know, and you know, folks just need to know that. But then I like the part about you. If there are more people, you know, letting folks know. One, you got to know the reality of what the politics is all about.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it's good to be able to steer somebody in the right direction.
Oh, yeah. A lot has changed since we come and talk. The
disclosure
laws.
You have to sacrifice a lot.
The disclosure laws, the transparency, people know and learn a lot about you. I experienced an investigation, and many people have. You know, most recently we see right up the road from us, we could see what a decision that may or may not be intentional, but what impact it could have on your life.
Right.
I mean, when you got criminal charges being considered against you, so I have to remind people that this is real.
That's real.
And I've been investigating.
People,
that's public. People know that. Thank God I prevailed, because I know I had done nothing inappropriate or wrong, but that was the politics of it. That was for the purpose of, we need to really slow Kenneth down, hush him up, hold him back. We need to get him preoccupied with something else, but that didn't work.
And that's the dirty politics, because folks need to understand that.
And this is a pretty big target right here.
Big target, you know, but again, you know, folks are gonna come at you, you know, with whatever they have.
Every direction.
You know, every direction. And they don't stop until they get you.
That's right.
And, you know, so sometimes, again, when you look out in the community, you don't know who you can trust.
That's right.
You know, so it's challenging.
It
know,
is.
I'd like for us, well, you know, my whole dream is like, okay, let's just make politics clean. But that's impossible.
That's not quite likely.
I know. Well, I think I've had a really interesting conversation with you.
I had a blast.
He did do most of the talking, like I said, which is really good, because I won. I know, you came up with that, I'm sure. But I did want you, you know, to do the talking so the folks can hear you.
I was answering questions.
Yeah,
I was answering questions.
Did
I thank you, though. I do thank you for this opportunity.
Well, we plan on having this interview in the December issue of the magazine. And again, you can find the magazine online, on Facebook. You can also feel free, you know, to contact me. We're really sprucing up the magazine, updated the website, got a little more information. So I'm trying to make it a little more interactive. I'm like a one-woman show with my daughter doing the editing, and just a number of contributing writers. So we really appreciate them, but I'd like to hear from you guys what you'd like to see in the magazine. And I know you guys are waiting for this interview for Kenneth. So I'm going to get behind the camera, and then I'll put that spotlight on you. You have a chance to have some closing comments. If you'd like to let folks know where they can contact you, your phone number as a councilman, feel free to do that. And as always,
thank you.
It's a pleasure.
My pleasure.
Keeping talking Boudreaux.
Oh yes, so again, thank you for this opportunity, and if you ever need to contact me, Again, you could reach me at the council office, 337-291-8804. I do suggest that you make contact with a staff person, as we are not there every day as part-time individuals. I would also like to invite you over to CASA of South Louisiana, where I currently work professionally as the executive director, as we advocate on behalf of children in foster care, those who have been removed from their home due to neglect, abuse, or abandonment. Or you can just find me every Sunday at 11 o'clock a.m. on Magic 104.7. KNEK's The Community Hour, where we inspire, we educate, we motivate, and we encourage. So we just thank you so much for this time, and looking forward to continuing to serve in this great community of Lafayette, Louisiana.